Okay. Good evening. We're up to the Mishnah on Chaf Ches on the base. Today's topic is Chaf Ches. We're up to the Mishnah on Chaf Ches on the base. Kol davar she'oiseh v'oichel, anything that you find that it'll work and you feed, yaseh v'oichel, let it work and you feed it. In other words, let it make. You find this. We're going to see a parah, chamor. You find something that you could use it and feed it. You know, so he doesn't get a free ticket being fed, and it shouldn't have to cost you money to go ahead and deal with an aveda. It shouldn't have to cost you money to go ahead and deal with an aveda. So if it if it works for you, then you feed it. So it's zenena v'zenena. But if on the other hand you're going to go ahead and feed it and it does nothing for you, then there's we're going to see in the Mishnah and the Gemara a certain amount of time that you keep the animal. Okay. You sell it. Shneimar. The pasuk says, if your brother is not close to you, bring it into your house. It will be with you and you return it to him. So, fellas, can you imagine this? You take something into the house, you feed it, and you feed it for a year. Guy shows up and he takes back his animal. And you say, now pay me like twice the animal that it's worth because you had all these expenditures on it, right? That's not by Shevei Saloy. You're not returning something to him. You have to return something to him. So therefore, if it's something that's not going to go ahead and pay its own way, you don't have to feed it. You sell it, and then you take the money. And the question is, what do you do with that money? So if it's something that you could use, and therefore by feeding it, you're getting money from it because it's working for you, and therefore you're going to go ahead and return it, keep it. On the other hand, if it's something that you're going to go ahead and keep it, and it's going to cost you money, and at the end you can deduct all that from the worth of the animal and charge the one who lost it, then that's not very shalom. You have to return something. See ways to go ahead and return it to him is the drasha. Okay, so now you sold it, you found something, it's not going to make it, and you sell it. What do you do with the money? You could use the money. Lefikach, therefore, im avdoi, if the money is lost, chayiv bachri yusan. Again, this is a very vague statement, guys. It doesn't work in. We're gonna go through the halachos hashayimim. We're gonna try to figure this out. Okay, so just look at one thing. What does Rashi say? Lefikach, Parsh b'Gemara. So when you give a strange look, when the Talmidim give the Rebbe a strange look, you look at Rashi, and Rashi says, "Zog sich nicht," which translates, "Can he too?" Thank you. What?
Wasn't game.
Not wasn't game. That's
Google.
right. Kenny's laughing. No, it means don't worry. Don't worry. It's sad that your Yiddish is blazing saddles is the total amount of Yiddish that you fellas know.
I thought it was stay tuned. It's not stay tuned.
No, it's not. We'll see. Okay, anyway. Rabbi Akiva Omer, lo yishtamish b'hem, you can't use it. Lefikach, therefore, im avdo, if it's lost, ain't chai b'chiyusin. You're not chai b'chayis. Okay, that last part, hang in there. We're going to get everyone okay. Everyone's going to be good. Now, the Gemara is mashma that you have this thing, you find something, it's going to work for you, and you feed it. How long is that relationship expected to last? If ever. Oilam, ula oilam, says Rashi, ula oilam. Forever, this person have to trouble himself to take care of this animal? No, there's got to be a statute of limitations of how long you take care of it. Good, it's not costing you what financially, but you're taking care of the animal. So what are you doing? So Amar Shmuel, ad Beis Chodesh, 12 months. You ad Beis Chodesh 12 months. Tanya nami hachi to Shmuel, kol davar shoyse v'oichel going para. The chamor, the parah will give you milk, and chamor will give you work. Metapo behem, you could go ahead and deal with them. Ad Beis Chodesh. Mikan ve'elech, from that time and onwards, some demayhem, evaluate it, sell it, umenicham, and you leave the money, and you leave the money. Agolim is sayachim. Agolim is a calf. Sayach is I think a baby mule. Is that a baby donkey? What's a baby donkey called? What? A foal is a horse. No one, mush? Whoa.
No longer, just lost the crown.
Wow. Okay, someone Google baby donkey, okay? What? Yeah, but it says young donkeys? Well, I said baby donkeys. Okay, I'll argue. Anyway, so you have a calf and a young donkey. What? So a fowl? Okay, my shit back. There you go.
A golem of fowls.
I go in of calves.
Just fowls.
Hesh.
No, cows are calves.
Hesh. Stay watching the bridges, okay?
Who's
Yeah.
gonna tie?
Says the Gemara. Mitapel men shleish chadashim. So the agolim yachim who don't work, that is 30 days, guys. 3 months. 3 months. Okay. This is important. We're going to ask a steer, so let's get this straight. So animals that work a year, and ones that don't work 3 months. Mikan ve'elech, some demeim umenichem, and then you sell them now. Avazim v'tarnegoylim are ducks and chickens, roosters. Metapan shloshim 30 days. Mikan ve'elech, some demeim umenichem. So what we have to know for the future is calves and sayachim are 3 months, and ducks and roosters are 30 days. Amrav Nachma Yitzchak, Tarnegoilis, a hen that lays eggs, kibehei magasa, is like an animal that works for you, and therefore you would keep it for a long period of time. Hanyanami hachi, Tarnegoilis ubehei magasa, v'tapel men shnei mesach. A hen, the big difference between a male hen and a male hen, a rooster hen. Okay. They were a little frisky tonight. I feel attacked. I haven't felt this way since I'm already tired. It says, anyway, become elich, some demei manichem. Go ahead, you evaluate it, sell it, and leave the money. Now, here's your problem, guys. Agolim sayachim, we said earlier was 3 months. The top ben lamiyoin. That's your first stira. We said 3 months, and there it says 30 days. Become elich, some demei manichem. Avasim v'tanagoylim that we said before was what? Was 30 days. The chol davar shetipula meruba mesachroi maschoroi meruba mescharoi, that its work is more than its schar, that taking care of it is more than schar. Metapen shloisha yamim. So guys, you have 2 steers. You got a stira from the agolim sayacha from 3 months to 30 days, and you got the roosters and the ducks from 30 days to 3 days. Mikan ve'elach Sunday menichem. Kasha agolim usayachim. Agolim sayachim. You went from 3 months to 30 days. Avasim tanagolim. You went from 30 days to 3 days. Says tomorrow agolim sayachim lekasha hadraya, where you have a space for it to graze, and it's not going to go ahead and be a tircha for you, and so therefore that would be 3 months. But the betuma where you have to feed it by yourself, that's going to be 30 days. So it's more tircha. So right, I wasn't trying to go nami like kasha, a big one. A big one is going to be 3. It takes they eat a lot. Therefore, 3 days you take care of the big rooster. A small rooster, 30 days. So again, it depends on the size of by the chickens. It depends on their size, and by the galim siyachim, it depends on if you have a pasture area for them or not.
When did he sell his chickens?
That's this Gemara. That's this Gemara. This Gemara's coming up. That's it's coming in guys with the chickens. Yeah, with the goat. Yeah, with the beer, with the goats, with the bears. Yeah, the cubs. Anyway,
Did you buy the duck yourself?
She'ena oisav oichel. Tanrabanan. It says v'shivaisa re'ei heich t'shivenu loy. So the pasuk says v'shivaisa lo. That's the pasuk. Re'ei see heich t'shivenu lo. How you can go ahead and return it to him. Yachol yochel egel agolim the siach sayachim. It's funny lashon. Rashi says min agolim shenimsa lo yochel lo demei egel. From the calves you find, don't go ahead and feed them the worth of the egel. In other words, you return it. Don't feed him the worth that the guy's not going to get something back. In other words, here's your. You have a bill of $1,000. You have $1,000 goat. I'm keeping the goat, right? You make sure that you don't go ahead and consume the value of the goat in the calf of the calf. Avazim lavazim taganim taganim. Okay. Now we say, what do you do with the money you get? Says Reb Tarfon, you could use it, and says Reb Akiva, don't use it. Okay, fellas, a quick reminder for Shomrim, Shemachinam, Shemesacha, Neshacha Vasrael. All we need is the Shemachinam and we need the Shemachinam, Shemesacha, and the Shail. Good. Shemachinam is Pata B'Gnei V'Aveda. Pata B'Gnei V'Aveda. Shemesacha is Chayiv B'Gnei V'Aveda. Pata B'Einsin. Shail is Chayiv B'Einsin. Shail is Chayiv B'Einsin. That's it. With that Hakdama, everything should go a little clearer. Now, we have a Machloikis, fellas, in Machloikis, a Shem Raveda. Is it Shem Echinam or Shem Esacha? Someone is, you find Aveda, you're watching, what are you? Are you Shem Echinam or Shem Esacha? Says, it's Machloikis. One mandama says, what? You are a Shem Echinam. After all, you're not getting paid. The other one says, well, if an Ani would come over to you now and ask you for a pruta for tzedakah, you would have to give it to him. So on that pruta that you're saving, you're a Shem Esacha. That's called pruta de Rabbi Yosef. That's the famous name. We have Naska de Rabbi Abba, we have pruta de Rabbi Yosef. These are famous terminology. Okay? So now, with that in mind, ad kan loy pligi ela kishenishtamish behem. Machloikis between Reb Tarfon and Rabbi Akiva. That Reb Tarfon says Yechayiv bach rayis, and meaning your Yechayiv bach rayis, that means oinus. And Rabbi Akiva says you're not Yechayiv bach rayis, is only what kishenishtamish behem. Avoloim nishtamish behem. If you don't use it at all, im avdei pata. If you get lost, you pata. Now, what does that mean? If you get lost, you pata. Must be your shemachinam. Must be your shemachinam. Right. Now, it doesn't fit well in the Mishnah because the Mishnah seems to be speaking about Einstein, but missing, and it says Avdu. It says Avdu also. That's also a problem. But so, in other words, if you use it automatically, you're going to be a shayl. You're using it, right? So that's the problem with Avdu. We'll see. The Gemara discuss it. So we have machloikis if you use it or not, and if you use it or not, says machloikis is if you use it. But if you don't use it, everyone says you pata. That's what the Gemara says. Why? You'll be a shem echinam, and you're not being paid. Here's your money. Pata. Let's say Rabbi Yosef. Let's say this is what is a upshlag on Rabbi Yosef. Dam Rabbi Yosef, the itmar shema aveda. Rabbi Omar kishem echinam. Rabbi says kishem echinam. Rabbi Yosef oimer kishem esacha. So the chayr shem esacha, you should be chayiv ba'aveda, as we just said. So if you don't use it, you're saying you pata if it gets lost. Like if you're a shema sacha, you should be chayiv if you get lost. Rabbi Yosef says you're a shema sacha. Rabbi Yosef says you're a shema sacha. So question, this is an upshlag on Rabbi Yosef. They may have a tiyufta to Rabbi Yosef. Amalach Rabbi Yosef begineve va'aveda the kolyam le'pligi de chayiv. The machloikis is not, if you don't use it, you're still going to be chayiv begineve va'aveda. Everyone agrees. Sai Rabbi Akiva and Sai Rabbi Tarfon says you are shem esacha. That's the littlest amount you are. The littlest amount you are is a shem esacha. Again, this is Rabbi Yosef answering, but he holds that everyone else, if you don't use it, you're a shem esacha. Ki pligi, when's the machlokes? Ba'ain sin de shayel. Rabbi Tarfon sava shari le rabbanon l'shem mushe begavayu, v'havi le shol alayhu. And therefore what? And therefore you chayiv ba'ain sin. Rabbi Akiva sava le shari le rabbanon l'shem mushe begavayu. Right? They didn't let you use it. Okay. So, what can you use it or not? Now the question is like this. It means that even if you didn't use it, since you could use it, you're a shayl.
In 5 hours, if I keep it in my house, I don't use it, I'm still a shayl.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So Gemara later on, if you borrow an axe, it says baka bakana. The Gemara says, what do you mean baka bakana? It says until you use it, you can have charata. But you can have charata then. But again, once says Rav Tarfon, you're an appointed shayl. You are a shayl. That's what you are. Why? Because you could use it. Says Rabbi Akiva, no. If you do use it, so there. But the machloikis was saying the machloikis that we're qualifying. Rabbi Yosef is learning shot in what the Gemara just said, that if you use it, everyone says you're a shayl. But if you don't use it, everyone agrees. So he's saying, no, it's not true. Even if you don't use it. Rashi says, "Kishenishtamesh lav dafka, el mishum schar shimush kamar, meshemuta lishtamish behem." It's mutter to use it. So says the Gemara now, very good. Says this is the way he learns. You could use it. What's the lefikach of Rabbi Akiva? They argue whether you're a Shem Achina or a Shem Asacha. Hainu diktani Rabbi Akiva. Aimer lo yishtamish behem. Do not go ahead and use it. Lefikach im avdu. If it gets lost, I'm still a Shem Achinam. Ein echai berchiyusan. Sakadei chaminan Shem Asacha have kid Rabbi Yosef. I might think that what? That you're a Shem Asacha like Rabbi Yosef. Ubegneva aveda mechayev. Kamashman lefikach. Hashta the Amr lo yishtamish behen Shem Esacha lehavi v'lo mechayev b'gneva v'aveda. Elei Amr b'gneva v'aveda the kuli Amr le pligi dechayev ki pligi boinsin the shoyel my lefikach to Rabbi Akiva. Hachem iboyle lemisnei Rabbi Akiva oimer lo yishtamish behem v'ano yedana Akiva lo yishtamish behen lav shoyel have b'en chayev b'chiyusan. Okay, lefikach to Rabbi Akiva lamali. Okay, so now let's stick this back into the Mishnah, guys. Let me stick it back into the Mishnah, right? Okay, we're starting off at the point that you're a shoy machina, right? We're starting off at the point you're a shoy machina. You sold the animal, you have money. This money now is to watch. I'm a shoy machina. That means I'm pata b'gneva aveda. Good. Let's stick this in the Mishnah now. Reb Tarfon oimer yishtamish behem. You're able to use them. Therefore, you are a shoy mesacha. You could use them. Lefikach im avdu, if they're lost, chayi bachru yusan. Rabbi Akiva im lo yishtamish b'hem, you can't use them. Lefikach im avdoi, if they get lost, ein b'chayi yusan. Since I can't use them, what am I? I'm a shemechina, and therefore, if it gets lost, I'm not chayi bach rayis. That's if you hold. That's if you hold that what that you're shemechina. But according to Rabbi Yosef, that you are shem esacha. 1 second. Let's stick that in. Rabbi, you're a shoyel. According to if you use it, you're a shoyel, right? You're a shoyel because you could use it. Now, Rabbi Tarfon yishtamish behem. You have rights to go ahead, wide and use them. The word of mavdu is still shver, but chay b'chrayis means you're an oinus. Chay b'chrayis means you're chay b'insin. Rabbi Akiva oimer lo yishtamish behem. Lefikach im avdu and chay b'chrayusan. Just say lo yishtamish behem, period. And male, I would know you're not chay bach rayis. You can't use it, but it doesn't say that. So therefore, it's fair to say, it's very fair to stick in Rabbi Yosef's pshat over here that the level that you are a shem esacha and you're upgrading it to a shoyel. It's pashtus. It makes more sense that you're a shem achinam, and then if you use it, then you're going to upgrade.
Afraid that put the Yosef think that he's a shem himself, and people are not going to want to do the mitzvah because they're going to do the animals inside the road.
Yeah,
we had that in Shalayim one time, right? If someone sees animals in Shalayim, you could use them, you could eat them, but there's something with the animals because they're afraid people are just going to leave the animals on the side.
I don't know what you're referring to, but again, Stam is like people are going to do mitzvahs. People people
it's not responsible for Gneva.
Again, people you don't people are going to do mitzvahs even if you're responsible. I mean, you're saying that a deterrent.
They take away from people doing mitzvahs.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but not the chance to do a mitzvah. This mitzvah leisuchah l'salim. I'm not able to avoid it. I want to be over a lav. It's being over a lav.
Some animals that they found.
Again, you're being over a lav. In other words, if you don't take it in, you're being over an avera. Being over an avera. You're not going to do an avera. You're not going to do an avera. Okay, so now that's the Gemara's kasha. So now the Gemara gives a teretz. Okay, the fikach to Rabbi Akiva lamali. So why would you need the fikach of Rabbi Akiva? And for the Gemara, I'll tell you why you need it. Mishum lefikach to Reb Tarfon. Since Reb Tarfon said lefikach, if it gets lost, yichai b'achar yusan. Therefore, we said that the lefikach of Rabbi Akiva. Ein nachinami. Okay, the Gemara lefikach to Reb Tarfon lamali. Why do Reb Tarfon have to say lefikach? Hachikam Reb Tarfon. Keeping the shari le rabbon l'shtamushi begavayu. Since he permitted you to use it, kiman d'shtamish begavayu dami. It's like you used it. Here's the problem, guys. According to this, it has very little to do with Aveda. It has to do with Oinus. Fred the Gemara avdu kitani. It says what? That the machloikis is what? By avdu. Machloikis isn't whether you can mishtamish with it or not. Machloikis is whether it gets lost or not. Shemechina makes sense. If I don't use it, I'm a shemechina, I'm a pata ba'aveda. If I'm a shemesach, I'm chay ba'aveda. So what does that mean? The Gemara answers, and for the Gemara, I'll tell you. When it says avdu over here, it doesn't mean lost, it means oinus. End the page. When he said avdu over here, fellas, it doesn't mean avdu, it means oinus. We had this before. Kidarabba, we had this guy's in Masechta, we had it before. The Rama Rabba, nigdmu balista mizuyin, right? That's Geneva. We said that's an oinus, right, guys? Remember, we said it's an oinus. We said Baba Kama. If listen mizuyim come and put a gun to your head, that's not Geneva, that's your oinus. You be potter. And avdu shetavu tfiyasayim. What does avdu mean? That you had cargo, it was on a ship, and the ship sunk. So good, you lost it, but it's not the Aveda that we're speaking about that is chayiv for a Shem Mesacha. We're speaking about an oinus. So therefore, the Mishnah makes sense now. Take it, the avdu means it's speaking about oinsin, and pshat in the Mishnah is how are you going to read the Mishnah? You're going to read the Mishnah like this. You have a right to go ahead and use it. Since you have a right to go ahead and use it, what are you? Shoyel. Lefikachim avdu through what? List mizuyin or being sunk in the ocean. Chaybach yusan because you're chayav ba'inus. You can't go ahead and use them. Lefikachim avdu ain't chaybach yusan. Very good. When oinus happens, that's the way we learn shot. That's the way we learn shot. You're right.
So why is he potter?
Who said he's potter? Rabbi Kiva says he's not a shoyel. He's not a shoyel. That's good for. He's not a shoyel. He's not a shoyel. That's what he's saying. He's not. Since he's not a shoyel, he's not chayiv. Rabbi Tarfon says, Mendy, even if he doesn't use it, he's a shoyel. Like Yankel said, you borrow something, if you don't use it, it's in your jurisdiction, right? Okay. Rav Yehuda Mishmuel Loch Reb Tarfon. That what? That the money you get, you're permitted to use. The money you get, you're permitted to use. That's the halach of Tarfon. Biyad Rachba Habile Hanu Zuzi Diasme. This person Rachba, he had in his hands money that was what? Was entrusted money by Yisayim. Asla Kamed Rabbi Yosef, Amalei. So Rachba asked Rabbi Yosef, can I go ahead what? And use these? Can I use them? So Amalei, Rabbi Yosef said, Hachiyam Rabbi Yosef, Ameshmuel, halach Reb Tarfon. The halachas are of Tarfon, and therefore you can use them, right? Says the Gemara, Amalei Abaya, Rabbi Yosef. Abaya said to Rabbi Yosef, "V'lav itmar Allah." Didn't we learn on this? Amar Reb Chelboy, Amar Rav Huna Loishanu, that it's mutter to use the money ela b'demei aveda, where you got the money as a result of selling the aveda. Shahoyel v'tarachba. Since you went ahead and troubled yourself with the aveda, right? Then you went ahead and sold it. Aval moyis aveda. But if you find money itself is what you find. In other words, you can have money, guys. I can have $1,000. I can have one or two ways. I can have $1,000 because I found $1,000. I can have $1,000 because I sold something for $1,000. When did Reb Tarfon allow you to go ahead and use the money? When you sold it, because since you were matriach taking care of it, then you can go ahead and sell it. But if you find $1,000 that you didn't have any tercha for, then you don't have a right to sell it. And the money of the assignment that was entrusted to Rachba didn't trouble himself at all. So Abai is questioning Rabbi Yosef. You, Rabbi Yosef, are saying that Rachba can go ahead and use the money. Why? He didn't trouble himself taking care of his money. So and Echinami. So therefore, Avamois Aveda, the Toiloi Tarachbe, you've just found the money and you weren't metapel with the animal at all. Law, you can't use it. The Hani Mois Aveda dummy, and the money of the assignment is like an Aveda. So Amalei, so Rabbi Yosef told Rachba Zil, I'm sorry, you got to go. They're not letting me matter to you. I can't give you a heter. You can't use the money. And you can't give you a heter. You can't use the money. That's them's the apples. Good, nice come on. Okay, matzah svarim. Right, if you find svarim, matzah svarim. If you find svarim, right now in those days, remember everything was scrolled. There was no printing press. Everything was handwritten and it was scrolled. For art, just the scroll, right? And so you had these scrolls, and you go ahead and you can read from them once in 30 days in order that they shouldn't get moldy. any idea likrois, and you don't know how to read, so Gailalon, simply go ahead and do Galila and roll them. Avalo yilmo behem betchila, you can't learn from them ständig, you can't learn from them all the time. Vayikra acher imoy, and another person can't read with you at the same time. You can't learn from it, because learning from something, you see the Gemara's, you see a guy shas, you'll see the brachas is used up, right? Take a look at the nida and the yavamis. Usually, they're pretty pristine. Right.
The Bereshis is still worried. I got the Shemais without even.
Right, you got a shas about yavamis. Okay. Anyway, so
Just the facade, that's the cover, nothing inside.
yeah. Anyway, so again, so if a person, what am I saying? Anyway, so if a person doesn't know how to read them, then so why shouldn't you learn from something? Because you learn from something a long time, it gets used, and you see its use. So don't you learn from it, and two people should not learn from it, because they may pull one and yank it to him and rip, and as a result, they'll get ripped up. Okay. Matzaksus, if you find a garment, shake it out once every 30 days. And you want to air it out, do it for the purpose of it. Let's say it's a nice tapestry you found, or something that will make you appear as a wealthy person. Don't go ahead and take it out for that purpose. Clay kesef, the clay nechoshes. You have silver keli or bronze keli. Mishtamish ben litzarchan, that they shouldn't get what? They shouldn't get get moldy, I guess. Aval loy l'shachakon. We're going to see what that means. You don't go ahead and put something in that's going to go ahead and erode it. Kli zahav, golden kalim, that they don't get moldy. Kli schuchis or glass kalim. Layiga behem atshiyah b'Eliyahu. Don't do anything to them. Don't touch the gold. It seems to be silver and gold. Silver gets to be. I wonder if it's true. You say silver, you see it around. It gets not only tarnished. It gets nifkam. You get salt on it or something. It gets pugum. But gold, it seems, doesn't. Gold seems just remains gold. And so it says very clearly, you don't touch the gold. It doesn't need touching. Glass, don't touch the glass. Right?
They break it.
Matz a sak a kupa. If you find sakis or a kupa, let's say this person is a chush of a person, and it's something that he wouldn't accustomed go ahead and schlep. There's no isaf of liso l'salim of bashim tsive. He'll be pata from returning it. We'll see the source in the Gemara. Okay, Amashmol says Shmuel. Hamaitzi tefillin b'shuk. If someone finds tefillin, some demayhem, go ahead and evaluate them, and go ahead and leave it. Some demayhem and nichem, and you leave it alone, right? La'alter. It says menichem la'alter. Masar Ravina, Matzah Svarim Koimem Echel Shleshim Yoim. Many Yadei Likra is Goylon in some demayhem menichem loy. So why tefillin are you selling right away? Rabbi tefillin be chaboy mishka shchichi svan l'shchichi. Tefillin are easily replaceable. Just go to the house of Bar Chaboy and it'll give you a new pair of tefillin. So don't bother watching them. Go sell them, keep the money, right? And it says menichem la'alter. And svarim are much harder to find, and therefore don't sell them that easily, because the guy would rather have the sefer. So the Rosh has a very good cash over here. The halach is like Reb Tarfon, right? The halach is like Reb Tarfon, right? The halach is like Reb Tarfon. That you could use the money, but over here it says menichem la'alter. It says you sell it over here, right? You sell it over here, and you can't use it. What's the difference? If the halach is like Reb Tarfon, why can't you go ahead, sell the tefillin and use it?
They only need the money if you return.
So it answers the rush that there's no tircha. You didn't want tircha watching the tefillin, right? You want three. This says the teretz over here where there's no tircha. In other words, finding the tefillin is the same thing as finding cash. Finding the tefillin would be the same thing as finding money. Since like by rachba, since you want matriach yourself, right? Can't use it. The use of the money is like a schar. It's a payment for the tircha that you did up until the point that you sold it. Okay, very good. Okay, we're gonna say over a Tosefta, and then we're gonna explain it. Hashayel sefer Torah mechaver. Someone borrows a sefer Torah from his friend. You can't go ahead and lend it to somebody else. Pascha, you open it up, the kairi boy, and read from it. But you shouldn't go ahead and learn from it standing. Again, they used to learn from sefer Torah. They didn't have svarim. V'layikra acher imoy, and the person should not go ahead and read with you. V'chein mafkid sefer Torah etzachayra. Someone entrusts this person to watch the sefer Torah. Goyla loy kol shnei masach chodesh. He should be goyled every 12 months, that it shouldn't get moldy. Paschal v'kara boy. Gemara is going to ask why. If he's a shaymer, you know what? When you open up something and use it, it's called shlichus yad. What does it mean over here? A shaymer just can watch something; he can't use it. So it's saying over here, and if you're entrusted to watch a sefer Torah, open it up and read from it. But that's called shlichus yad, guys. So I'm just pointing out to you the problem that we're going to address soon.
Why don't we just with everything? People calling them any kind of shomer, Metzia Veda, it's also yeah.
Well,
That they gave you permission to use it.
Yeah, it's different, right? Again, because it's going to cost you money. You have to think it's costing you money. The reason you could use it, Benji, is only to offset the cost of keeping. You want to have return him something. And if for him he opened it up, it's aser. We'll see what that means. Right, Shleishim Yoim, B'Yoshan, an old Sefer Torah, Shnei Esach Chodesh, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, Echad Zeh v'Echad Zeh, Shnei Esach Chodesh seems to be 12 months. The Gemara is going to ask that Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Hainu Tanakama, seems to be saying the same thing as the Tanakama. Amamar, what does Amamar mean? Doesn't mean the master says, it means now we're going to go ahead and analyze the Brisa. Amamar. Hashel Sefer Torah Mechaberoi, Harizeh lo yishalenu la'acher. My area, why does it say Dafka Sefer Torah? I feel calmly. Nami loy. Anything else you're not able to go ahead with. The Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. We learned what in Masechta Gittin. Shana Rabbi. Their Rabbi learned the Mishnayos. Ein hashoel v'shoel hashel. Ve'ein hasoicher v'shoel hasker. A shoel doesn't have permission to go ahead with and lend, and a renter can't sublease. So what? So why are you telling me that if you lend a sefer Torah to someone, you can't lend it to somebody else? The halacha is always like that. Ain't a shol v'shol lahashol. And for the Gemara sefer Torah, it's tzrich. I need a chiddush by sefer Torah. What's the chiddush by sefer Torah? So ma'adetem, I would think that what shenichalei leinshi this abis mitzvah l'mayna, that a person would want that with his money that it should be gone ahead and be used. In other words, that you want it to be used. So therefore, I would say that you could lend it out because the person would be happy. Kamash Mlon, that it's asa. It's very interesting. The halacha is that you're able to use a sefer. We know that a person would be happy with using a sefer. You'll find the sefer in base medrash, right? Very rarely would you find a guy say asa l'shtamish ba. They'll say it's mutar l'shtamish ba rak l'achzir l'mkoima. Only return it to the place. Why you want someone to use the sefer by sefer Torah? We don't say that. We don't say that anyway. Poischei v'koyer boy, right? The Gemara asks pshita v'chayra. What's the whole reason? If you borrowed a sefer Torah, what did you borrow it for? Of course, you borrowed it to read from it. So why are you telling me that that poisech v'koyer boy? That's pashit. So it says no, you don't need it for that. Sefer tzrichle. The chiddush is the sefer ubivachla yilmud levetchila. Even though you borrowed it, guys, you can't abuse it. It's even you borrow it. It's borrowed like. The Gemara is telling you when you borrow something, you borrow it and to use normal ishtamshas. To overuse it, that you won't be able to do. To overuse it, that you won't be able to do. You won't be able to learn from it. V'chein mafkid, going back over to Brisa. V'chein mafkid sefer Torah eitz l'chaveroi. Goylo kol shnei mesach chodesh. You go ahead and roll it every 12 months. Paslu v'koyra boy. You open it up and you read from it. Maya v'ritev gabei. What right does he have to mishtamish with it, guys? He's a shomer. He's a shomer. Again, it's called shlichus yad. So what do you mean? V'su, in addition, shem b'shviloi paslu asa. You just said paslu v'koyer boy. You said for himself it's asa, but you just told me above you. In other words, whatever the answer to the question is, how he did it, but you said he could do it, and now you're telling me that what that paslu is asa. In other words, it seemed to be a steering minei ubei. Amit. You said in the Reisha. Says the come on. Imkeshu goyleloi, when he is busy being goylelit, when he's being goylelit, at that point in time, poisech v'koyer boy muta. Imbish v'loi paschei asalasas came. So guys, outside, a shomer is not able to touch this except one thing. 12 months he's able to go ahead and be goylel to make sure that it doesn't get moldy. If in the 12, that time where he's being goyal once in 12 months, he finds something to read, he could read from it. But if he does open it not for the goyal, then he can't read from it. Sumchus Amar, Sumchus says, again, completing the brisa, b'chadash, a new Sefer Torah called Shloshim Yoim, b'yashan 12 months. Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov oime echad zeh v'echad zeh 12 chodesh. Read the Gemara, Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov Hanu Tanakama. They're both saying the same thing. 12 months. Says the Gemara, Ella Ema. Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov oime echad zeh v'echad zeh shloshim yoim. Change the girsa. He's the biggest makel, right? That every 30 days, not. So according to the Tanakama, Bain new, Bain old, 12 months. According to Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, Bain new, Bain old, 30 days, right? 30 days. And the middle shita is what? Who's the middle shita? Sumchis. Sumchis is the 30 days would be for new, and old would be 12.
What's this motherfuckers?
What?
How quick it's
Metzias, I guess how much needs to be aired out. I guess the airing out. It seems to be.
That's very extreme.
It seems to be machlokes and Metzias.
Year.
I don't know. The Mishnah said you can't go ahead. If you find a sefer, you find a sefer, you can't learn from it betchila. Just air it out. Nor another person reading him. So it's mashma that what, and that din that another person can read. Raminu, I'll ask you a stira. La parasha v'yishana. You shouldn't go ahead, learn something and repeat it. La parsha v'targem. You shouldn't learn a parsha and targem. And you can't open it up more. We're getting more exact now. When you open up, you can't open it more than three columns. And 3 people can't learn with one crack. That's kash. The kash is going to be from those words. Right. But 2 could. So I'm going to buy a kasha. It's not a problem. Kan binyan echad. When it says 2 people can't read, that's in one inyan, because they're going to go ahead and pull it back and forth. Kan b'shtein yonim. But over here, it's speaking over here, where 2 people could, it's speaking with 2 different yonim. So since each person is learning a separate inyan, they're not going to pull the sefer towards them. We find matzah ksus, minaroi echel shleishim yoim. If you find a garment, so you shake it out once every 30 days. Read the Gemara, lememra, the near ma'alele. You mean to tell me shaking out is a good thing? Rabbi Yochanan. If you have an expert weaver in your house, you're not ksusa b'chol yom. Go ahead and shake it out every day. So what do you see? Shaking out a bag, it's not good, because it's telling you, when you shake it out, if you got right? It says Gemara, Ami b'chol yom kashalei. Echel shoshan, a few to it, some guys. Every single day do it. Nari b'chol yom kashalei. Once every day is hard. Echel shoshan yom malib. But if you do it once every 30 days, that's okay. Iba is named another teretz, like kasha, right? Bechad, v'ha betray. If it's one person shaking it out, it's good. That's once every 30 days. If it's 2 people shaking it out, it's not even one day, because 2 people, they're going to pull one to the other. Iba is named like kasha, hub biyada, v'ha bechutra. If you do it with your hand, that you could do every day. If you do it with a chutra, with a stick, that's once every 30 days. Iba is named like kasha. If it's wool stretches a lot, then don't do that every 30 days. If it's kisna, if it's what it is, flax. Yeah, then you can go ahead and do it. Then it's good. It's good to be shaken out a lot of times. Now, since Rabbi Yochanan told us some derech eretz, guys, about often the Gemara does this, they tangentially goes off into obscure ideas. So it's going to discuss some obscure ideas. Meaning to derech eretz, right? Rabbi Yochanan, kasa decharashin, v'la yishta kasin depaishin. You have a choice. You have a cup, a kais, that was in the hands of a magician, and who knows what he put in that, right? Better to drink that, like kasa depaishin, than lukewarm water. This really is going to This is going to prove to be correct. You're going to see in a second. The bacteria in a lukewarm water that's partially heated is very unhealthy. We're going to see in a second. Le'amaron Ella b'kli matachos. That's only if you heated it up in a metal kli. Avol, if you heated it up b'kli charash in a earthenware kli less than, but it's not a problem. B'kli maklachos nami le'amar, and kli machlos is also not a problem. Ella d'lei tzavitz, if it didn't come to a boil. Avol did tzavitz, if it came to a boil, less than ba. Once you boil it, the bacteria goes out, and therefore nothing to worry about. If you didn't throw any spices or roots or other things in there. Less than ba. So this other piece of idea from Rabbi Yochanan. First, he gives you an idea about shaking out clothing, then he gives you another idea about what about water. From Rabbi Yochanan, your father left you a fortune, right? Right. So writes abdan, and you want to go ahead what and get rid of it. So stay away from a guy named Bankman Fried, right? You don't want to run into Bankman Fried, right? Yilbush Big Day Pishtin. Should go ahead what and wear Big Day Pishtin, because Big Day Pishtin will go ahead and they'll rub out very quickly. The Ishtamshu B'klis Chuchis, and go ahead and use white. We're going to see in a second white crystal. The Yischa Poilim Val Yeshiv Mohem, and hire workers and don't go ahead what and hang around them. Why? What's going on over here? What are these things? Yilbush B'kli Pishton, B'kisna Rumaisa. We're speaking about Roman flax. Roman linen seemed to be very, very thin and it would wear out, expensive. You're gonna have to replace it a lot of times. B'yishtamish B'kli Schuchis, it's Bizukisa Chivrasa white crystal that breaks quickly. The Yischa Poilim Val Yeshiv Mohem. So what is that speaking? You hire workers and you don't stay with them. Tirgemua, they were metargim. What is this speaking about? Beture is lashon of a shor. Beture de nafish pisidayu. You're speaking about what? About workers with oxen. These guys Rashi brings out. If you don't watch them, you need oxen for all agriculture. They're going to go ahead. They're going to trample through your fields. They're going to trample through your vines and everything. You want to lose your vineyard? It's a good way to do that. Go ahead and hire these guys.
It came up with a site that the FAA, there's a